Hi. Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video that I wasn't planning on filming today. But I have unhauled some books and I'm literally about to go run errands and send these books away because they have been sold, or most of them. So although now it's not the ideal filming time because I'm very much in the middle of preparing for moving and stuff is everywhere and I hate it. It's horrible. Yeah, I'm already fed up with it. But anyway, it just has to be filmed now because the books are going bye-bye. So after my last unhaul, I wasn't really expecting to unhaul many more books, but then I found a new apartment to move in and it's teeny tiny. So I'm just like minimizing all of the stuff. And with some of these books, I've either read them and I don't think I will be rereading them super soon, or I'm not super excited to read them right now, or I think that it might be more practical to have them as ebooks. To start off this unhaul, I have a couple of books that I'm unhauling from my collection, but they are not leaving my life entirely because I think that they will work well in my parents' house, at the books that are there. So I still have some books that are in my old room in my parents' house that I don't really consider a part of my collection anymore, and they are also mixed with books that aren't mine. So these are just random books that are in my /guest room. So yeah, I have The Little Prince by Anton de Saint-Exupéry. This is the Czech edition and I really love this book. I reread it like a few years ago. I first read it as a kid and then I read it as a teenager and I really loved it as a teenager. And yeah, as I said, I reread it a few years ago and I still love it. So I think that I will probably be rereading it like every few years or so, but I just feel that it doesn't really fit into my current collection and I don't really need to have it on me all the time. And it's not really a children's book, although like kids can read it, but I think that teenagers and adults will get more of it. And even the format kind of resembles more a children's book than like my paperbacks and hardcovers. So yeah, this will be going to my parents' house. Similar story is with this book of Grimm's fairy tales. So this is actually a little bit sentimental because I bought this during the first time I was in London, which was 2017. So yeah, it's kind of souvenir. And I read it, I really liked it, but again, it's more of a book that doesn't really fit in my collection. So, but also I don't want to be getting rid of it. So yeah, my old room. And then I have Spark Joy by Marie Kondo. So I have Marie Kondo's books, the first two, in Czech, and they're kind of traveling between my place and my parents' house. And since my family, most of my family doesn't read in English, I kind of got these Czech editions and kind of like sneakily trying to get them to read them. I will probably be interested in getting the English books for my collection, so this can go for now to my parents' house. And then for the books that are actually leaving me and going far away, well, I don't know how far away actually. So yeah, the first book on this deck is Becoming by Michelle Obama. So I really love this book. I don't really know how to talk about it, but it was an amazing reading experience. I learned a lot, I mean, obviously. And yeah, it was 5 stars. And I would definitely love for other people to read it. And also this was like a super find because like normally the hardcover is super expensive, but I found this for like $5 in a discount box. So it was just a really nice experience. But yeah, I don't think I will be rereading it soon or ever, and if I ever want to reread it, I will probably want to try the audiobook because people say it's amazing, and it totally makes sense because with non-fiction I really love when the audiobook is narrated by the author. It really adds value to hear the words from the person. So yeah, I would love for this book to get to the next reader instead of just, you know, sitting on my shelf. Next I have a series that I haven't finished and I'm actually in the middle of rereading the first book, so it might seem like a bit of a weird time to be getting rid of it, but yeah, this is the case where I want to get the ebooks instead, and last time I checked they were pretty cheap, so like the money I got for selling them will actually cover most of it, I think. And it's none other than the Mistborn series. So we have The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. So these two are totally new and unread because I haven't got to them, and this one was a little bit damaged when I bought it, but nothing major, and I sold these as a whole, so as a set. So yeah, that will give me some money to buy the ebooks. This is an adult fantasy series about very grim world where the Dark Lord has won the war and is now ruling the world, and it has a really interesting magic system that is based on metals. I really loved The Final Empire. When I read it the first time, I gave it 5 stars. I'm currently rereading it, and it will probably take a while before I get back into it and get the ebook. So I got to page 84 this time so far. And yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it because I just really like some of the characters. And the magic system is really cool. Then I have a book I'm not completely sure I want to get rid of, and that's Well Managed by Jen DeLuca. But also, like, you know what they say, like, if it's not a fucking yes, it might as well be no. So this is the first book in kind of a loose contemporary romance series, and it features Renaissance fair. I really love this one. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was super fun. I'm pretty sure I already bought the second book as an ebook, so it looks like I'm not really building a collection of this series, so I might as well read the rest of the series as ebooks, and I probably don't need to keep this one, although like it kind of feels weird to get rid of a 5-star book that I might reread sometime, but for now I don't feel a strong desire to keep it, so it might go. Then I have a non-fiction book, and that is Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. So yeah, this is a book about introversion. I read it quite a few years ago and I really liked it. It was kind of really validating, and there was some interesting and new information I didn't know. I read it as an ebook, and then I bought a physical copy because I thought that it might be more practical if I want to reread it or highlight something. But I ordered it online and then it arrived, and the font is tiny, and I just can't do tiny font. And I haven't reread it either, like since getting it also a few years ago as a physical copy. So yeah, that's just like a sign that this copy isn't really for me, so it will go to another reader. Okay, we got to the most controversial part of this video, and this was kind of the case where I wasn't really sure I wanted to get rid of these books, but I listed them and they sold like almost immediately, and the person like paid it right away, so I was like, okay. And that is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. So I only finished the duology a few months ago. I read Crooked Kingdom, yeah, this spring I think, and I really liked it. I gave Six of Crows 4 stars and I read it twice, and then I gave this volume 5 stars, and the characters really grew on me during the reread and reading of this one. And yeah, I really like the series, but will I ever reread it? Maybe. So why am I getting rid of it again? I probably won't feel like reading this for a while. Also, I haven't watched the show, so, and I don't know if I want to, because I'm not the biggest fan of book to movie or series adaptation. I just don't like consuming the same story like in a different way, because especially with this one, like from what I heard, the plot lines and everything is like super different. Like putting together the plot of the Grisha trilogy and this duology, and I just get annoyed by the things that are different, and then I'm confused, like, was this in the book? And I don't know, I feel like everyone in the book community is really excited about these adaptations, and I'm just like, I'm not sure if I even want to watch it. So we'll see about that. And if I ever want to reread it, I can also get it as ebooks. So yeah. Also, like, another option would be like getting some of the fancy hardcovers. But either way, this has been sold, so these paperbacks are going away. Another book I'm not sure about, and it hasn't been sold, like no one in the Facebook groups wanted it. And I'm also using this second-hand online bookstore, and this particular one is offering $1 for the book, which is like, might as well like keep it. The thing is that I'm not super excited to read it anytime soon, and that's What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty. So I'm reading the whole backlist of Liane Moriarty, but I just recently read one of her books. It was The Last Anniversary, and right now I don't really feel like reading another book from her, especially one of the older ones, but also it's like a brand new paperback I bought. So I guess I will keep this one. Liane Moriarty writes adult contemporaries with some mystery elements, and it's really character driven as well. And if you want to start somewhere with her, I would recommend starting with Big Little Lies, probably. And the last book, is it the last book? And it's Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle. So this is a pretty old collection of 3 Christmas stories, or rather like anthology, because there are different authors, right? And yeah, I first read it a couple of years ago and I enjoyed it, although like the John Green's story, which is the reason I picked it up in the first place, was my least favorite of the 3. The first one is the best in my opinion, but I also like how it kind of intertwines, and I really like the Christmas atmosphere, but at the same time, in some aspects it didn't age super well, and I just think there are better Christmas stories out there, and I have a few that I'm interested in picking up. So although I probably might read this book sometime in the future, because I have already read it for Christmas, I think 2019. And also this was kind of a souvenir because I bought it during a Christmas trip to Linz in Austria. But to be honest, it was mostly because like I went to this amazing bookstore, Thalia, but the English selection wasn't very big, but I really wanted to buy something, and this was like, I don't know, the best candidate, but not something I necessarily wanted to read. And then I remember we were going back by train, like it was like 4-hour train ride back to Prague, and I started reading this book on the train, and I think I read the majority of it during the ride. So it's just a nice memory, but I mean, I'm not super sentimental about this particular copy, and also like it's a Christmas book that I might read like in a few years, only during Christmas. So it doesn't really feel like it necessarily deserves the place on my shelf right now. I don't know. I think also the library has it, or I might get an ebook in the future. But yeah, there are some Christmas books that I'm excited about checking out, hopefully this year. So yeah, that was my unhaul, the Hesitant edition, last portion before moving. I really surprised myself with some of these, but with some books it's kind of the case of me thinking that, okay, I'm not going to unhaul this in the near future because of some reason, and so then I kind of tend to skip it while looking at books to unhaul. But then at some moment I just think differently about it, or just look at it from a different perspective, and I can see that I actually don't need to own it, and it might be better not to own it, for other people to get to it, or to get another edition, or just to get more space on my bookshelf and in my life for other books. So thank you for sticking with me during this chaotic unhaul. Let me know if you read any of these, or what's a book you have unhauled recently. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. All my links can be found in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!